Miss Transformers 96 here with another Hot Toys review. This time it is, of course, of General Zod. And here you are. So, of course, the box is really nice. It sticks with the same design from Superman and Jor-El. You've got the logo or the family crest right up top. It looks really nice. And then you get some type of design at the bottom. For Jor-El, it was Krypton. You know, for Superman, I can't remember. I have Superman's box, but I can't remember what the design was. I think it was just Earth. And for General Zod, it is Earth, but it is when it's being attacked by the world engine or the ship that takes him to the Phantom Zone. And overall, some great graphic right here. I really do love the design of this box. You even get the plane with the two jets, you know, escorting it to try to take it out from the movie. Really neat. Overall, really do love these boxes, and it does have the capability to open so you can see the figure inside, which is nice. And overall, I really like. They're pretty simple boxes for the Superman toys, but they're actually quite nice and really well done. So yeah. So now let's go over the figure. So here's the General out of the box, but before we go into the figure, let's go over his accessories. So overall, he comes with 6 hands. As you can see, you get 2 fisted hands. Each one of these is really well done, really well made. You've got some great armor, and just this paint that they used on this armor is so nice to make it look kind of like steel. Really fantastic and really great looking. And then you get 2 hands that are just kind of relaxed palms. They are really nice relaxed palms, though. I mean, they do hold a lot of expression, which is nice. I've never actually had him with these hands on, but I'm sure that they would be quite good. And then, of course, the last pair is just the open clenching hands. You'll see these for most of my review. He'll have that, but overall, I mean, just look at that awesome figure. But overall, he comes with a nice range of hands. Maybe like one more for like the right hand side, just to have like a pointing hand. Considering he is a general, it would have just kind of made sense for him to have some type of directing type of hand. You know, telling people to go somewhere or something. That would have been kind of nice. But overall, I mean, I think that he comes with just about every hand that you would want. I mean, I think that you're going to use the fist or the clenching hands. There's really nothing else that you can have him have, other than maybe like a perfect hand for holding the helmet or something. But other than that, I think that he comes with a pretty nice range of hands. Really nothing to complain about, and overall, it's very nice. You do get the stand that came with Jor-El as well as Superman. Overall, looks great. You do get General Zod's family crest or his logo right here on the center with that fantastic texturing. Just to give you a bit of a close-up look. Look at that. Beautiful. Really love the design in that. And I really love just the idea of these bases. They're very nice. You get a nice silver Man of Steel General Zod nameplate right there, as well as an adjustable cradle which is completely bendable in order to do flight stand poses and everything. The idea of it is really cool, and I think it is really quite nice. Although the bendable post isn't as bendable as I would like, and the lamps that I use to film my reviews, they have that same type of bendable thing, and they just work so much better. They have so much more, they're more flexible, and I kind of wish these were a little bit more flexible as well as it just doesn't work as well with Zod as it does with Superman, considering Zod never flew while he was wearing this armor, and because of that, typically that's something that wouldn't annoy me, but it actually just doesn't look quite right, and you know, you need him in a skin-tight suit to be flying, in my opinion. Just, you know, when I kind of look at them, that's what I think of. So overall, these do look really great, and the idea of them is fantastic, but they take up so much space, and they're quite tall. So if you have like a Detolf cabinet, you really can't fit many of these in there, as well as you have to get the cradle bended enough to get them to stand and whatnot, and you can never just have them completely standing on this base and have support, because there isn't like a crotch piece that they can use to get them just to stand on this. So I wish that you got 2 things with this. I wish that, you know, you also got this, but then you could unscrew it and just screw in another one in here that's shorter and would just allow you to cradle the figure while he's completely standing up straight on the base, as well as I would have liked just another normal stand that Hot Toys always produces, and just come with that. So, you know, just charge an extra $5 for the figure and just come with those things, because not everybody's going to display them like this because it takes up too much space, and some people would just like them to be on the space but just standing and not in a fight pose. So So those two things I think were extremely necessary, not only for General Zod, but for Superman and Jor-El, which they didn't come with. So it is very disappointing to me, and because of that, I'm just really not liking these bases, because I'm not displaying him on this base at the moment. I'm using some other generic stand that's just one of Hot Toys' generic stands, and I would have loved for him to come with that so that you had the option to do either way of display. Overall, though, it does look cool. It just, you need some other things for people who don't want to use it just like this. So there you go, but overall it does look great. You do also get his helmeted head, which I think is really great. He does, he is fairly lacking on accessories, he doesn't come with too much, but this helmet really does help with that accessory problem, because you get this absolutely fantastic extra head or accessory that you can use with him. He looks great. Of course, this does come out of his suit, and therefore there shouldn't be any gaps, and you can see his skin. It's hard to see, but there you go. You can see his skin there and everything when you have his head tilted and whatnot. But it's really not much of a problem. To some people, it could be a bit of annoyance, but to me, it's just really not that bad, and it really doesn't bother me too much, especially since most of the time you're not going to have bright lights shining directly on this guy. He's going to be on a shelf which is not completely fully lit from all angles, so it won't matter. But overall, I think that the look of this helmet is absolutely spectacular. It gives him a fantastic look. The top of the head, it almost has a translucent look, which it should, and it's just paint that they did it with, but man, it just looks really nice. You get some great dimension there. Love the black eyes. Very cool. This helmet wasn't used too much in the movie. Of course, we got it when he comes off the ship to interrogate Clark's mother and try to find the Codex, as well as during his message to Earth, although it's very fuzzy and you really can't see what he looks like he is wearing the helmet during that message. But overall, really do love this head sculpt, and it just surprised me how good it was, because it really is quite nice. Alright, so to go over the face sculpt, as you can see, here's the face sculpt of General Zod. This is the most controversial thing about this figure, I think. Some people, and actually I've watched a lot of reviews of this guy, and a lot of people do not like his expression. And I cannot comprehend how you could not like it. For me, from the second that I saw this head sculpt, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I was so excited to get it, and I thought it was just beautiful. I love that he had expression, and he wasn't just standing there with a blank face like most Hot Toys figures are. And that's fine for a lot of the Hot Toys figures, because some of them, they don't have a clear expression that you can use that'll look good. But this just looks perfect. I think it looks fantastic like it when he's just standing up straight, up and down, and I think he looks even better with it when he's in a pose fight, but you don't need him in a pose fight to have this face sculpt to look natural. It looks fine when he's just standing there, because it's just a pissed off face. It doesn't have to be that he's in battle, So overall, I love the expression. I think it's fantastic. Now, the actual likeness and the face sculpt itself, how close is it to, Michael Shannon? I think it's fantastic. I do not see anything wrong with this face sculpt, and it absolutely kills me when I hear people talk about that they don't like it, and it's absolutely mind-boggling to me, because I see nothing wrong with it. It's not one of those face sculpts that, I don't think is dead on or anything like that. I think it looks dead on. I see no reason not to think that it looks exactly like the actor and exactly like the character. So I just have to say the best thing about this figure is this face sculpt, and that scar right there they did so well. Really haven't seen, or at least I don't own, a figure that has a scar on its face that from Hot Toys that looks this good. Just looks really fantastic, and he looks determined, he looks angry, he looks pissed, and I love it. I love the actual look of this face sculpt, and I love the expression that they chose to go with it. A+ to Hot Toys for me. I think it's fantastic. When I saw the original pictures, I loved it, but I was also a little bit worried, because I was like, I hope that we get it and it looks just as good, and it doesn't look like, it's not one of those figures where the pictures were much better than the actual figure, and it's not the case. This looks just as good as those preview pictures, and I love it. I have no problem with this head sculpt at all, and I think it is maybe one of the best, if not my personal favorite, face sculpts from Hot Toys to date. I think it's absolutely perfect, and I can say nothing wrong with it. So that's my expression. That's my feelings on this. So totally 100% love this head sculpt. Alright, so now to go over the suit. So when I saw pictures of this guy, I originally, I was stoked to get it, but I also never really had the intentions of doing any posing with it or really doing anything special because it looked like it was going to be severely hindered by the posability with, the skin-tight suit, and then on top of that, having these heavy armor pieces. So I never expected to really be able to do much with him, and to my surprise, he really can do quite a lot. It's actually very impressive, so I'm pretty happy about that. But just going over the skin tight suit to begin with, of course, looks great. It has that texture that all these Man of Steel figures have. Looks fantastic. Made of the same material as, Superman, same type of thing, and it's completely on him. Overall looks good. I do wish that it had his logo on it, because if it did, I'd be totally willing to, buy two of these guys and, just take off the armor and have a second one, with him just without the armor. That would have been fantastic, but because it doesn't, you really can't do that, and it's a shame because you really almost could, because I think almost everything on this guy is just free-flowing armor, so you could take it all off if you wanted to, but unfortunately it doesn't seem like you can and have it look good, so that's unfortunate. But overall, the black suit does look really nice. The armor on top of it is great. Just talking about movie accuracy really quick, there are some problems with it, like there is a bit of a gap in between his neck and then where the armor starts up here. This should be up further. That is definitely the number one thing that I don't like about this armor, is that little thing, and it's not a big deal. It just kind of looks a little funky that the armor is so low, but if it was raised, it would be perfect and I wouldn't have a problem with it. Also, people have complained that you can kind of see through his suit, which of course shouldn't be accurate, obviously, but I don't find it a big deal. It's just not something that bothers me. You have to really be looking for it to notice it, as well as when you have it on your shelf, it's not like light's going to be shining behind him, so you won't even notice it at all. So it's really nothing that I can complain about and that I want to complain about, because it's really just not that bad. But the armor design itself is really great. It is symmetrical in a lot of ways, but in some ways it isn't. Like the armor pads are different, as well as these forearm pieces are different as well. I love the wires going down. They look really nice and really cool, and they just look good. And it is quite impressive that the suit, because of course it is CGI in the movie, and they were able to make a real version of it. Hot Toys did, and so that was really nice. And it is surprising that it was CGI in the movie, like the entire time it was CGI, so kind of disappointing. I mean, it seems like they could make this, and it doesn't seem that bad. But overall, it was a fine choice, because I really love the way he looked in the movie. And overall, he does look really fantastic. You take it down further, you get the legs, which is really cool. Some of these panels are rotating. You can, rotate these knee panels a bit. You can rotate the panels right here, as well as the elbow panels, so you can adjust them, because if you have his foot that's completely pointing down, you can kind of see his joint in there. You just rotate this panel up, and you're all set to go. So overall, really do like that they did that to allow you to hide some of his joints. When you have his limbs or his joints extended fully, you can kind of hide them. So overall, that is quite good, and really does fit. And overall, he just looks fantastic. Articulation wise is really good. It really seems to be exactly the same as Superman. I mean, he really doesn't have any more limitations than Superman does for the most part. There are a few limitations, like when you move his thighs. They do move and everything, but you kind of bend these pieces, and they are soft rubber plastic, so that they are able to be bent. It's just not something that I'm completely comfortable doing, but you can do it if you want to. So overall, that's not too bad, though. You get the same amount of knee articulation, ankle completely ball jointed, which is really nice. And he does actually have a toe hinge, which is nothing that really bothers me. Some people have said that because of this toe hinge, it makes it harder for him to stand. I really haven't noticed it very much. I mean, it's not like super tight or anything, but it really hasn't affected his standing for me. But overall, these do hinge, which is nice. It's unnecessary, but it's nice. He does have waist articulation, which is actually functionable. He can, move side to side, although you are, moving these rubber plastic pieces, as well as tilting this. You're not really bending this, though. And then he can go forward, and just the armor kind of slides into this piece, because it is not attached between this piece and this piece, so it just kind of slides in when you move them down, and when you move them up, it just kind of extends more, but you still get all that armor. It's not like when you have him all the way back, the armor comes up so you can see his shirt under here or anything. It's nothing like that. And overall, articulation is really good with that. Arm-wise, articulation is exactly the same as Superman. I mean, it's not hindered by the armor. Man, I can't get this in right. I'm gonna have to put that in when I pause it here. But you know, it's not hindered by the armor. The arm articulation isn't at all. So it's completely the same as Superman. And then his head is completely perfect for posing. I mean, it's a ball joint and it really works well. Let me try to put this in here. There we go. No, did I do? Let me pause it and do this before I continue. Alright, sorry about that. I popped that hand back in. Also, the shoulder pads do hinge up, so you can move his arms up, which is really nice. One thing that was a big disappointment for me with Superman was that when you moved his elbows and his knees, you know, they were fine and whatnot, but if you left either of those in a bent position, like overnight or over some time, it would become extremely wrinkly, which is extremely disappointing. And as you can see here with the elbows, they do have wrinkles in them. They're not too bad though, but they are wrinkled. And then when it comes to the knees, look at, you got a nice perfect one like that, and then this one, it's all bunched up and all like this because I have him displayed with one of his knees bent just slightly, and I bend it like that much, not much at all, and it does that, as well as the ankles have some of those lines in them, and overall it is just very disappointing and very annoying. Really don't like that at all. With Zod, from what I can see, the arm or the clothing would do the same thing most likely. Like over here, you've got a little bit of creases in there or whatnot, but it just doesn't matter because you really can't see them, which is really great. I mean, with the knees, he's got full knee pads right over them, and you will never be able to see any creases, which is great. And then with the arms, there is visibility for creases, but it just doesn't matter because it's just hidden so well with the armor, and therefore it's really just not a problem. I mean, if you're the type of person that really, even though you can't see it and it's not like hurting the suit or anything, but it'll bother you, then you're still gonna have the same problem. You're still gonna be bothered by it. But if you're somebody who knows, you know, I'm not hurting the suit by putting a crease in it, so, and because I can't even notice it, it doesn't matter, then this is just great. I really don't fear about posing him. The only thing that I kind of fear about is, you know, when you pose these too far and these kind of bend, or same thing with these, even though they're made to be bent, it does scare me a bit because you never want to rip them or anything like that, even though it looks like that they're pretty strong and they won't be ripped, and that would kind of get annoying. But other than that, I really don't have any fears about posing him, which is really nice. And it's something that with Superman I have tons of fears about posing him because he just, the creases are so noticeable on him and it's just so disappointing. So with Zod, my biggest problem for Superman really gets taken care of with Zod, so I'm really happy about that, and overall it's great that they can do that. So yeah, so now let's go over the cape. So here's the cape, of course, and it is optional about having his cape on. I mean, with Superman, of course, you know, you need his cape, but with Zod, you know, he didn't wear the cape that much, actually. He really takes it off almost as fast as he takes the helmet off, and therefore it's not 100% needed. But for me, I personally think that he looks perfect with the cape, and even though he is, in most of the movie, he doesn't have the cape, it just seems so necessary for him to have it just because he looks awesome with it. But just coming up closer, as you can see, it hooks onto right here, kind of get that kind of look. Overall looks quite nice. Flip it up over his head just to kind of, it's hard to see, but just so you can kind of see how it's done. As you can see, it just, his cape, you know, kind of rounds up at the front of it, and it has a button on this side. You need to put it through the loop and then just attach it to this cape, to this part of the cape. You will probably need tweezers to kind of pull it down to get it up so that you can snap it on. It's not that hard of a thing to do. It can be a bit annoying, but if you have tweezers, you know, you should be fine. If you're just trying to do it with your hands, though, it could probably be pretty hard. His cape is made out of different material than Superman's. His is more of a furry kind of look. It is more of like a silk almost. Overall, it does look really nice. It looks great. It seems like it's gonna attract a lot. Like every little speck or piece of dust is gonna get attached to this cape, and it's gonna be really annoying. I can totally see that happening, and it is probably gonna be frustrating in the future. As well as it leaves like little pieces of black like fuzz around, and it's very annoying. Something that I didn't notice until I started doing this review, and as I'm talking about them, and I'm moving him around to take some pictures during this review, I can, you know, see these little pieces of fuzz that he's leaving behind, so that is quite annoying. It is kind of like shredded at the bottom here. Overall, that's kind of cool. I mean, I never noticed that from the movie, but I assume it's accurate. The only thing I don't like is it's just so perfectly done. I mean, did he really design this like in the movie, basically? Did Zod or whoever made his armor, did they actually design it to be this perfect like this? Or is this actually just supposed to be from dragging that it gets ripped and stuff? I don't know. It doesn't look realistic, because it looks like either somebody designed it to be like that because he's the villain, you know, or it was just kind of torn and looked like that, but it's so perfectly done it doesn't look like naturally done. So overall, I'm not a huge fan of this type of shredded end. I think that if they were going to do this, they should have done a more natural look, like it's actually been torn as he's walking and stuff, but they didn't. Overall though, not a big problem at all, and the cape does add a really cool effect, and you can do a lot of fun stuff with it. I wish that it had a wire. You know, just for Zod, there's been a lot of poses where I kind of wish it had a wire, but I can also see why it's great to have it free-flowing too, because you can get some of those good free-flowing poses with it as well. So overall, the cape is really nice. It you know, seems like the material might have some flaws that can pop up in the future. It might get dirty easy. We'll have to see. Only time will tell. But it's really, you know, pretty nice. And overall, I do like it. I do like the way that it hangs and everything. So overall, do like the cape and the armor and the suit. It's a beautiful look. A couple slightly non-accurate things, like the suit's a little bit too low, but other than that, it is a really perfect rendition of this costume that was completely CGI in the movie, that they were able to replicate in real life 1/6 scale and do it just beautifully, in my opinion. So overall, I'm very happy about that. So here's Zod in like his flying pose. As you can see, the cradle does cradle just his clothing. It doesn't actually make contact pushing down on his armor or anything, so you don't have to worry about that. You know, I've heard people say that the cradle, you know, can kind of dig into the suit a bit and create like a kind of a noticeable line. I really haven't noticed anything of that, but I really haven't displayed him like this much at all in the fight stand. But overall, he does look cool, even though he shouldn't be flying with his armor on. He does look nice, although I really wish that they made a version of him without his armor. And I mean, there's still time, they could still do it, but they're not going to do it, basically. It's been too long. But overall, he does look really nice on this fight stand, just so you can kind of see. I do have like a dead Superman just kind of here that, you know, Zod has vanquished him. Thought that it would just add to this little look a bit. Overall, he does look really nice on the fight stand, though. So if you do plan to have him on the fight stand, he's going to look nice. I just don't think that it's perfect for him, but overall, it does look quite good. So here's the size comparison between Superman and Zod. As you can see, I think that they're pretty perfect in scale. I mean, I really don't see any problems. It looks like Zod's slightly shorter than Superman. You know, like when you look at him straight, you know, just like at their level, Zod does look a little bit shorter than Superman. When you look at him like from how you're probably going to be looking at them mostly, which is from like an upwards angle, like where you're taller than them, looking kind of down on them, it does look like Zod's a little taller than Superman. But I do think in reality Zod is shorter than Superman. In the actual toys, he is shorter than Superman. But overall, I think the scale is great. I mean, I really don't have a problem with it. Maybe in the movie Zod should be slightly taller than Superman, because he does have like armored soles that he's standing on, basically. So maybe realistically wise, he should be slightly taller than him. But I think that Henry Cavill is a pretty tall guy himself. So I really think that they're in perfect scale. I really have no problems with it. Overall, they look great together. I don't have Jor-El. I'm sure that Jor-El would look great with them, but Jor-El is unnecessary for your display, in my opinion. I think if you just have Superman and Zod, they're gonna look great, and I'm very happy that these two are the ones that I chose to get out of this toy line, because they just look really great together. Overall, I think that this figure is just absolutely mind-blowingly fantastic. I think the design of the character is beautiful, and in my opinion, I love the character from the movie. I love the movie. I know some people don't like it because it's so action-packed, you know, big problem with the movie, I guess. No, I'm just kidding, but overall, I really did love the movie. It was exactly what I wanted my Superman movie to be, and this is not only one of the coolest, I think that this is one of the coolest comic book villains that there has been in a movie. He definitely makes it in my top 10 of favorite comic book villains, and overall he was just great in the movie, and this toy just completely accurately and perfectly represents the character. You know, out of all of these Zod figures that have come out, this is just by far the best, and just the only definitive, complete, perfect, General Zod figure that there is. I think this is a must-have for any Superman fan, and I would just say it's such a great figure. Just for anybody that can appreciate a really well-executed figure, I say this is one to get. Maybe the character is making me biased, but I really have minimal to completely no complaints about him, which is just so great. And I really think that he comes with the right amount of stuff. Just wish that he came with an extra standard Hot Toys base. But other than that, he comes with everything you could want. I love the head sculpt. I think it's fantastic, and I love the helmet head sculpt as well. I would just do anything for them to make another version of him in just his skin tight suit, as well as I've watched a lot of reviews of this guy, and I think that just about every review I've seen, they've said how they wanted that they were hoping that Hot Toys would make a Feora, and I'm going to rehash that because I completely would love for them to make Feora, and it seems like there's so many people that want that figure. I'm surprised they haven't made her, but really hope that we do get her in the future. But for now, this is a great figure, really fun, especially if you have Superman. You can do a lot of fun stuff with them, and he just looks great. I love this figure, might make it to my #1 favorite Hot Toys figure of the year, but the year's not over. We still have some good ones coming out, but this one is great in my opinion, and a must-have for any fan of General Zod. So there you go. So that's my very review of the Hot Toys General Zod figure. Thanks so much for watching.